Imagine a man whose voice could make millions stop and listen. A man who sold out arenas, topped charts, and created songs that became the soundtrack of people's lives. But behind the fame, the music, and the money, there was another story. A story that would shake the music world, destroy a legacy, and reveal dark truths that had been hidden for years. This is the untold story of R. Kelly's fall from grace. Before we dive into the charges, let's rewind. Robert Sylvester Kelly, known to the world as R. Kelly, rose to fame in the 1990s with hits like I Believe I Can Fly and Bump and Grind. He wasn't just a singer. He was a global superstar. To many, he was a musical genius. To others, he was something else entirely. For decades, whispers followed him. Rumors of inappropriate relationships with underage girls, secret settlements, and disturbing behavior. Somehow, the music always seemed to drown out the noise, till it didn't. Fast forward to a Friday morning in Brooklyn, New York. Federal prosecutors walk into court carrying a thick file. Inside, a superseding indictment, an updated list of charges against R. Kelly. 9 counts, one of them racketeering, a charge usually used against organized crime figures. The rest, 8 violations of the Mann Act, a federal law that prohibits transporting anyone across state lines for sexual purposes if they are underage. But what made this new indictment even more explosive was what it revealed about 2015. According to prosecutors, in 2015, R. Kelly had sex with a girl under the age of 18. They say he never told her he had herpes, something he was legally and morally required to disclose. This wasn't just immoral, it was illegal. She wasn't the only victim. In total, New York prosecutors now claimed there were 6 alleged victims. 3 of them were underage girls, but Brooklyn wasn't the only place building a case. A month earlier, in Illinois, federal prosecutors filed their own superseding charges. Different state, different victims, but the same disturbing pattern. Together, these 2 cases painted a grim picture. 22 federal criminal charges, 11 girls and women. Alleged abuse spanning over 2 decades. From 1994 all the way to 2018, prosecutors described a pattern. R. Kelly would use his fame and influence to meet young fans, sometimes at concerts, sometimes in malls, sometimes even outside his own trials. He would promise to help them with their music careers. Instead, prosecutors say he groomed them, controlled them, and, in many cases, abused them. The charges allege that he kept some victims isolated from their families, controlled what they wore, who they spoke to, and even when they could eat or use the bathroom. Some say they were forced to call him daddy. Others say they were filmed without their consent. Of course, R. Kelly denied everything. His lawyers claimed the women were lying for money and fame. They argued that he was a victim of a smear campaign fueled by the media. They insisted he was innocent, and in America, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Prosecutors had more than just words. They had witnesses, they had videos, and they had years of testimony from women who said they had been silenced for far too long. For the survivors, this wasn't just about one man. It was about power, celebrity, and the way society often protects the famous while ignoring the vulnerable. Some had been waiting decades for their day in court. Some had been teenagers when they met R. Kelly. Now they were adults, ready to speak their truth. One by one, they told their stories about manipulation, about fear, about the lasting damage. And one by one, they made it clear, this was not just about music. The R. Kelly case isn't just about one celebrity. It's about a culture that sometimes looks the other way when powerful men are accused of terrible things. It's about the laws meant to protect victims, like the Mann Act, and whether they are enforced equally. And it's about whether justice can truly be served when the accused has the money, fame, and influence to fight back for years. Suspenseful pause. In the courtroom, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, R. Kelly could spend the rest of his life in prison. If acquitted, he could walk free, his legacy forever tainted, but still his own to keep. Either way, this case is more than a headline. It's a reminder that behind the music, there are stories, some that were never meant to be told, until now.